What's up, YouTube? I'm Z, and this channel shows you the world through my lens. Um, Hopefully, some of you guys are pleasantly surprised that I'm on this right away. Well, a few days late, but as right away as I could, okay? If I could have done it earlier, I definitely would have. But I got word only a couple weeks ago, maybe even less than a couple weeks ago. Um, some messages on, I saw some comments on the YouTube and then some messages in my DMs on Instagram, basically saying, "Hey, Dave is going to be dropping this album. Are you going to be reacting to it?" Hold on one second. Let me make some adjustments here. Um, so, obviously I tried to play it cool and like, yeah, like I knew. But then obviously I looked up and asked the question, when is the album coming out? Got the answer, and we're here. I'm very excited. Really, really looking forward to new Dave. I've been craving new Dave, and Dave is an artist that I listen to a lot. I'll just put on, his. I personally don't like curate playlists a whole bunch, so I'll just put on like a "This Is Dave" and put it on shuffle, and that way I just get like a mix of stuff on Spotify. But I mean, look, I've been craving it. I'm sure y'all have been craving it, and we're here. So we're gonna be jumping into this. This album is called "The Boy Who Played the Harp." Leave it to Dave to have an album that immediately has people kind of being like, "Oh, this looks interesting." A couple things to point out right away. We have only 10 tracks, which is a short album, which I like, and I'll talk about that in a second. 47-minute runtime. Okay? Now, why do I like short albums? I personally believe that most albums can be in the 10 to 15 track range and don't really need to be longer than that. And not everybody agrees, but this is my opinion. The reason I think this is I think that once we start crossing that threshold of 15 tracks and getting longer, 20, 25, some 30, some people have 30 tracks on their album, I think it becomes incredibly challenging to not be repetitive, to not have songs that are doing something that another song was already doing. And then you're kind of stuck here saying, okay, well, I have two of these songs that are doing the exact same thing, but one of them's doing it a little bit better than the other one. So why would I, listen to this one if I can listen to this one? And you end up in this, just in a situation where as one cohesive unit, it starts feeling maybe not so cohesive. It starts feeling like, okay, we were just trying to put extra stuff in here. So that's kind of my issue with longer albums. And so when I see 10 tracks, I'm very excited. But even if Dave did 15 or 20, I'd still be very excited, to be fair. Okay, the other thing I'm noticing, this is just real quick before we press play, we have a number of features on here. We have James Blake twice. So that's exciting. Curious to see what that's going to sound like. We also have Thames, which is great. We have Jim Legacy, who I've only just recently heard. Actually on my album reaction list, people want me to check out Black British Music, I think is the album. So we'll be checking that out soon. We have Kano, and we have Nicole Black. So we have a number of features. And then the last thing I'm going to say that I noticed is that we have a My 27th Birthday, which is exciting. I like the My Birthday series a bunch. So cool. Enough talking. And I'll tell you guys, when I do these long intros, it's partly because I'm a little bit nervous and I'm procrastinating because I know what a monster Dave is, that this is going to be a challenging hour and a half or whatever, how much time it's going to take me to do this. So let's jump in. I'm going to try my best to do it justice, but also to enjoy myself because I'm looking forward to this. First track, History, featuring James Blake. Let's jump in. By the way, before anybody gets into it, before you start commenting, I know these lyrics are not accurate. I just like having something on when I'm listening to Spotify instead of, just the track list. And I'll make sure I try to rely more on my ears than what's written over here.
This is God's plan, he said it to me. An angel either side of my bed in a dream, singing, you don't know where you're yet to achieve, and you're destined for some shit you would never believe. Now the garden same size as Adam and Eve's. I got trees, a forest, you better believe. For the bass and the treble, I treble the fee. I can't wish my ex the best, she would end up with me. How can I sleep when there's money?
Listen, sir. First of all, you saying that, I mean, I don't even know how to address this. Your garden's the same size as Adam and Eve's? Wasn't the earth their garden? Anyways, I'm not going to say that that's accurate, what I just said, because I'll be the first to tell you that I am not the best versed when it comes to theology. That's a dope line. I think the whole thing starting with God as reference, we kind of have this, holy, angelic type of vibe sound that's kind of in the back of the instrumental right now. And then, the line that forced me to pause here was, I can't wish my ex the best. She would end up with me.
Sizes Adam and
Amazing.
I got trees, a forest, you better believe. For the bass and the treble, I treble the fee. I can't wish my ex the best, she would end up with me. How can I sleep when there's money to get with the team? You disrespect the 16, your head on the beam. For the lust of the money, the head of the queen. I done shit I didn't think I could ever redeem. I'm from South where they struggle with saying your name, but it's easy when pronouncing you dead on the scene. So when you see me on these stages stepping in.
I'm from the South where they struggle with saying your name, but it's easy when they're pronouncing you dead on the scene. Damn.
Where they struggle with saying your name, but it's easy when pronouncing you dead on the scene. So when you see me on these stages stepping in clean, I hope.
In our history.
So is that James Blake's voice, and they've kind of pitched and altered it? Very interesting.
Yeah. And when they talk on my name in this country, they gon' tell you that I'm already a legend. Strut them that I'm reppin', clean stepping. Bro, you need to forget it. Fuck eco-friendly, my car eco-aggressive. And my ego aggressive, you better leave me a message. Yeah, you done it for a year, but that ain't impressive. I give a fuck about success if it ain't successive, that ain't. City's gonna listen.
That's fire. That's fire. I happen to agree with that in a lot of different frames. And I'll tell a very, very fast example. Steph Curry, when he first started catching fire, people immediately in the first year were saying I had my friends in my circle saying he is the greatest shooter of all time and da-da-da-da. And I was just like, look, anybody can have a good, game, a good, few games, a good series, a good year. I think if you're really going to talk about greatness, we need to see the consistency. Is he going to do it next year and the next year? And here we are several years later, and I within I think 3 years, I was also saying he's the greatest shooter of all time. But it works the exact same way. It's one thing to be able to be hot for a second, but when you have people literally chomping at the bit for anything that you might drop or say, and you do it over time, that to me is success. That's really cool.
Yeah, you done it for a year, but that ain't impressive. I give a fuck about success if it ain't successive, that ain't. City's gonna listen on repeat. Gone a couple summers so they miss me on a beat. It don't matter if she pretty and petite. If she ain't B, she can't even kiss me on the cheek. Mum said never build a house on sand, but I don't think I listen, cause the villas by the beach. And I did it off of beats, I just whip it and I screech. Anytime you see my niggas in the streets.
In our history.
This chorus is very interesting. Oh, there we go. So now I'm wondering if that's just not him at all, and that might have just been like a vocal sample that they have pitched because that sounded like him right away. The other thing I was going to say before we get into what James Blake is going to be doing, Mom said never build a house on sand. So it's that's talking about being on stable foundation, right? But I don't think I listen because the villa's on the beach. So that's a really dope kind of flip on that. Okay, let's see.
Did I get addicted to life? Well, it's all that I wanted, and it was fun for a while. But history smiles on us now. We're on to something higher.
Wow.
Now hold my hand close. I'm inspired, and I'm holding on to a version of our lives where you're still mine.
Now it's history.
Listen, I don't know how much crossover there is. And I myself only know a very small portion of James Blake's catalog. But I watched this live performance recently from him on YouTube, and wow, it was spectacular. So that part right there, I'm just pulling it back. We'll listen to it and then we'll move on to the next part. But this part right here, the way he sung that, whoa.
Close. I'm inspired,
Right here.
and I'm holding on to a version of our lives where you're still mine.
Now it's history.
We'll make it.
Shall we make
My mum told me what my name really means, and the powers just kicked in. Got me thinking back to days when I was a victim to this thing. Thinking I was keeping it balanced. I was even embarrassed, selling CDs in Paris. But this music gave me everything I need in a marriage. I can't speak sideways on grime, jungle or garage. When I know that it's the reason we managed to make. Don't be a hero, I ain't looking to hurt any.
I like that, man. And I think that part's really important. You know, having spent more of my time in the U.S. and more of my time listening to U.S. artists, you know, I really appreciate. So, for example, I'm just going to name the biggest name, Eminem, when he pays homage to those that came before him. And, you know, so I really appreciate this line right here. I can't speak sideways on grime, jungle, or garage. Garage is how I say garage. Garage. You know, because when I know that it's the reason we managed to make history. And it's really important to keep, you know, propelling forward and keep pushing forward and pushing that line, but not forgetting the reason why you are able to do that. So I really like that part.
Grand jungle or garage. When I know that it's the reason we managed to make. Don't be a hero, I ain't looking to hurt anyone. I got a clean one and I got a dirty one. I never see a man late to his own funeral, but I don't see a man show up early to one. I prefer the one that's slim, but I don't mind me.
That was nasty. I never seen a man late to his own funeral, but I seen a man show up early to one. Oh, that's deep, man. That was dope the way he did
I
that.
ain't looking to hurt anyone. I got a clean one and I got a dirty one. I never see a man late to his own funeral, but I don't see a man show up early to one. I prefer the one that's slim, but I don't mind me the curvier one. Yeah, and I'm coming from the south of the river where the sky is black. If not for the history that we made, they wouldn't like rap. Niggas trying to water down our thing, it's time to fight back. For 70 hours I've been stepping with powers, and it's definitely ours. It's time you mention my name, better know that you're playing with pepper. He borrowed a mill and I told him to pay me and never knew.
See, this is the stuff I know. I can feel it. We're kind of just getting warmed up with everything that's happening right now. Like right here, this next, you know, these lines that you're playing with Pepper, you borrowed a mill, so pepper mill, but like mill money, pepper. Yeah, we know what we're talking about. Okay.
Only hours is time. You mention my name, but I know that you're playing with pepper. He borrowed a mill and I told him to pay you and never knew it was different from the moment we came in. And you can quote me because I said it verbatim. The woman with me like a Renaissance painting. I'm Michelangelo's David. And anytime you mention me in a statement, you better know that it's
History.
His name's Dave. I'm Michelangelo's David. That was super dope, man. Okay, really cool start to the album. You know, I'm very curious to see, you know, where we go from here. The next track we have is 175 months. Okay, that's I mean, how long is that? It's 7 years? Wait, I don't know. My math is really bad right now. Why is it always so loud outside? There's always stuff going on outside my office.
Minutes is the key to stop the eating right. But I didn't want to eat that whole pie.
Yeah, it's like,
Father God forgive me. It's been a
it's like a little over 7 years. But anyways, sorry. It was going to bother me.
But I didn't want to eat that whole pie.
Father God forgive me. It's been a couple years or maybe more that I ain't prayed. Even longer I ain't been to church, God I'm ashamed. Embarrassed in my ways, but still I'm asking for your grace. Feel like I've been led astray by the drinking and the spirits that like take me when I write. And the ladies in the night. Most people they got demons, I got angels that I fight. Trying to save me from my plight, I pray I make it to the light. South London where we lie. Abdullah died at 16 and I still feel that same rage. Cause we all getting older and he's still the same age. It's his 27th birthday and this piggy's 14. Back when we would all dream. And Stephanie, she lived at 14.
That's crazy, man. And, you know, I literally was just talking about this because I just did a reaction, which it made me, it felt appropriate to talk about my friend Max, who was killed when we were 17. And, you know, that's such a crazy way for him to put that, because when I think about Max, I always see him as 17. I always see him as the picture, the last picture I had with him, which was on my birthday, and we're sitting at this there was these tables at a park, and we were playing football and stuff and basketball, and then we were sitting down to have some pizza, and he was just sitting there with a big smile facing the camera, and that's how he is for me forever, right? Because he didn't get to grow beyond that, and his looks and his everything changed beyond that. That's it. So that's crazy. I got goosebumps. It's crazy to think about it like that, because I just never. It's always been a reality, but I just never thought about it.
7th birthday and this piggy's 14. Back when we would all dream. And Stephanie, she lived at 14. And he lived at number 17 and I was number 12. When I used to think that if I skip church, I go to hell. So when they ask about grief and how it feels, I know it well. I missed this 10th anniversary in 2024. I know the value of this picture, we ain't getting any more. Then I go and I get angry, God, like why'd you take him for? He was just a baby, all these emotions that I'm feeling, it's the strength I pray for. God, for anyone that's with us that can vouch, I pray for. Pray that I feel less lonely in this house I prayed for. I pray that. Yeah.
Oh.
With this cross that you bear on me, can you look after my mum? She probably used her last prayer on me. Can't let the devil in. There's repentance in the Bible. God remind my exodus. Feel like we was meant for this.
That's crazy, that line right there. Can you look after my mom? She probably used her last prayer on me. That's crazy. Very, very interesting what's going on with the beat. It's just so different.
Can you look after my mum? She probably used her last prayer on me. Can't let the devil in. There's repentance in the Bible. God remind my exodus. Feel like we was meant for this.
There's repentance in the Bible. God remind my ex of this. Exodus. Bible Exodus. Oh, that's dope. That's really dope.
Pray on me, can't let the devil in. There's repentance in the Bible, God remind my exodus. Feel like we was meant for this. Move mountains and boulders. We at the majors where our parents getting older. May they never need a shoulder. I done shit I can't condone. Wrote sermons on my own. I'm in church, more worried about the service on my phone. And on Judgment Day, are you gonna riot in my sins?
Wrote sermons of my own, so he's talking about his raps and stuff. Probably, I think when he's touching on certain topics, it could probably come across as preachy. So I feel like that's a nice kind of way. I feel almost like he's especially when it comes on, I done stuff that I can't condone, and then it almost feels like commentary on people who are preaching, and sometimes we've seen instances, or way too many times, of them doing not good things in the shadows, and then eventually it comes out that they were preaching all these good things to people but doing this other stuff. So I feel like that's a cool kind of thing. But the service on my phone versus listening to the church service, that's a really cool way to put that in there too.
Shit I can't condone. Wrote sermons on my own. I'm in church, more worried about the service on my phone. And on Judgment Day, are you gonna riot in my sins? Come my nigga, he got cancer and I'm lying to his kids. God, I'm trying, but it hits me in my heart. I done lost so many niggas that's been with me from the start. Then I pray for quick change and I ain't even tried fast. All I ever did was ask, shattered glass, crucifixes on my chest. Prayed to purchase a protect for my church, he cut a check. How am I trying to pray for Congo with these diamonds on my neck? As a father and as a...
How am I trying to pray for Congo with these diamonds on my neck? Yeah, man, and this is one of those situations, right? I think that it's he's talking about this struggle for wanting to be a voice for people, and perhaps verging on an activist, using his words. But at the same time, the struggle of wanting to shine and wanting to, feel whatever it makes you feel. I mean, I don't have diamonds and stuff, so I'm not really sure if I can totally speak on it, because I don't really know what that would feel like. But whatever that feeling is, and that's the struggle. And I mean, I think, for example, on other movements which have, let's say, boycotting or trying to make a difference through things like that, the challenge is between I would almost say convenience and your want to care for other people and make a difference for other people and be an activist for other people, because to avoid those items or those brands or those things, it's inconvenient when you're trying to find alternatives for those things. So it's definitely this struggle between the two, and he's kind of voicing this thing here.
For my church, you cut a check. How am I trying to pray for Congo with these diamonds on my neck? As a father and as a son, pray that I can show him how to love a woman through his mum, because I never got the chance. And I just want the best for my 3 little nieces that I carry on my chest. I'm praying for my managers and praying for their wives, because God knows that they're the ones that sacrifice their lives. I would have said their names, but God, you know who I mean. I'm praying for my brothers, God protect us on the streets. I had the steak at Carbone and didn't pray before I eat. It's like I call you when I need you, and I don't. We don't speak ground rules. For my niggas found schools back at Lambeth Town, who I helped him pray, but didn't know that it was on my downfall. So when I'm ice cold, with no blood inside my veins, numbers on my days, well, I say I love this life of rain. I'm just...
Ooh, I like what he kind of switched to there. The way he layers his voice on
this schools part. Back at Lambeth Town, who I helped him pray, but didn't know that it was on my downfall. So when I'm ice cold,
because it's also like when I'm ice cold, so after I die, and now his voice kind of has this layered effect. And well, he's layering his voice on himself, and the way he's kind of gone to like a bit more of a melodic delivery.
With no blood inside my veins, numbers on my days, well, I say I love this life of rain. I'm just praying that my purpose can justify my pain. I'm just praying that my purpose can justify my pain. My mum used to creep in my room and put oil on the cross on my head, anoint me, and probably read a verse like Psalm 23. The Lord is my shepherd, and maybe Matthew 4. The word is my weapon tonight. If I can't pray for peace, then I just pray we win the war. It's been 26 years, I don't know what I'm fighting for. Well, maybe it's a place to feel your everlasting light. In a world where kids that die get a second chance at life. Christ, I don't know what to say to you.
I'm obviously a little bit out of my depth in these opening 2 tracks with how much religious imagery and references are taking place. Again, self-professed not super well versed when it comes to theology. So that part, I'm just going to do my best kind of piecing things together. But this, the Lord is my shepherd, the word is my weapon tonight. If I can't pray for peace, then I just pray we win the war. It's been 26 years. I don't know what I'm fighting for. And considering that this is called 20, on this, he has his 27th birthday. So he's talking about the fight that he's been having between probably good and evil. Yeah.
26 years, I don't know what I'm fighting for. Well, maybe it's a place to feel your everlasting light. In a world where kids that die get a second chance at life. Christ, I don't know what to say to you. I pray to you, forgive me for the days I had a reason to. And I ain't have faith in you. You did it for the sake of me. And how I've forsaken you, I prayed for new shoes and I used them to walk away from you. Made out of drugs, swapped the pen for the needles.
That's crazy. This line hits harder because of the way he set it up leading up to this point. How he set up that he can do this kind of self-reflective moment and say, well, I only lean on God when I need something. And when things are good and everything's fine, then I tend to not reach out and keep praying and do all these things. And so here when he says, I prayed for new shoes and used them to walk away from you, all of that setup makes that line hit so much harder.
And how I've forsaken you, I prayed for new shoes and I used them to walk away from you. Made out of drugs, swapped the pen for the needles. And I just found a different way to poison my people. You could say it's testimony that I'm telling them a story, but how he's selling them, the devil's still giving God the glory. Can I pray?
That's crazy.
Can I go on top of the drums? On top of those other men? Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I completely got the math wrong at the beginning, by the way. You know what I did? I was doing 24 hours. I don't know why I thought 175 hours, but it was 175 months, and I just realized that. Isn't that amazing? So yes, it's obviously over 10 years, 175 months. Oh my goodness. This is the life. This is the life. What are we gonna do with me, right? That's what's happening. Okay. Very interesting instrumental there. It was so much going on, and just very unexpected and just kind of it was very interesting. Jumping into the next one, guys. Normally, normally I'm good at math, but it's just I for some reason thought 175 hours, not 175 months. So if it's 175 months, it's something like 14 years and something. So, we're good. Next up, we got No Weapons featuring Jim Legacy.
Weapons. No weapon that's been fashioned against me shall prosper. My niggas had to take a risk and prosper. What's that for me? And I said,
Go check my CV, hunting on her LV Speedy. She got a BBL, if I put that chick on a BMX now, she really, I got it on me. If you see me, Amanda, I'm getting too
That was great.
TV, hunting on her LV Speedy. She got a BBL, if I put that chick on a BMX now, she really, I got it on me. If you see me, Amanda, I'm getting too touchy-feely. Yeah, speaking freely, I left it behind. My people need me and
Life never showed me the T's and C's.
never show me the decency.
Had no one like Alicia Keys. I've been locked in with no sleep.
Mum said back by the evening, please. We don't need them streets, they're the reason. South London, it's RIPs and freezing G's, and I can for my Jesus peace. There's
Weapons.
Wow, that was dope. That was really. I love the way they finished that verse.
RIPs and freezing G's, and I can for my Jesus peace. There's
Weapons. No weapon that's been fashioned against me shall prosper. My niggas had to take a risk and prosper. What's left for me? And I said weapons. No weapon that's been fashioned against me shall prosper. My niggas had to take a risk and prosper. What's left for me? And I said
I'm praying for more life, more money, more success, more stacks for them, yeah, more platinum plaques for them. This didn't happen by accident. Any tongue that rise against me gonna fall, and that's why a man can't chat to them. Wait, I'm talking about minimum spend, rude boy, I'm trying to find out the maximum.
Damn, yeah, don't play with his name, man. What do you mean minimum spend? That's crazy. Any tongue that rises against me shall fall. That's why we can't chat to them. Oh, that's crazy.
This
That's
didn't
dope.
happen by accident. Any tongue that rise against me gonna fall, and that's why a man can't chat to them. Wait, I'm talking about minimum spend, rude boy, I'm trying to find out the maximum. Jot that down, been there so I can't pop that down. What you know about mum ain't got cash, so you gotta go shopping in lost and found. Slow down, rude boy, you don't know me. Cut through Southwest on a low key. Cordons on my estate, we doing carpool karaoke. I'm in the middle of the party, but I
By the way, why is James Corden so hated? Speaking of Cordons on my estate. Now, I'm not sure who he's referencing when he says Cordons on my estate. I'm assuming that's some other reference. But obviously, James Corden had carpool karaoke on his show, the Late Show or something like
you
that.
don't know me. Cut through Southwest on a low key. Cordons on my estate, we doing carpool karaoke. I'm in the middle of the party, but I don't dance. In France, I got a sexy one tryna flirt and distract me from the righteous path. Still want one of them Clermont twins. The allegations are dark, but at least I know she gon' do me and my dog. God forgive me, I don't mean that. Let me face my Bible and sing my psalms. Can't let nobody read my palms. Ain't no none of them pagan beliefs. I just wanna say that I built something I could give to my kids that I gave to my niece. So her name's on a lease, and my mum's use words of the prayers that we keep, and they sound like
weapons.
Wow.
No weapon that's been fashioned against me shall prosper. My niggas had to take a risk and prosper. What's left for me?
find what's left this side of the zones and the guys we step
And I said weapons.
inside with them.
No weapon that's been fashioned against me shall prosper. My niggas had to take a risk and prosper. What's left for me? I was bagging up bitch on the east side, selling like K on the west side, just trying to graduate. I was backing up bitch on the east side, selling that K on the west side, just trying to graduate. I was backing up bitch with the weapons. No weapon that's been fashioned against me shall prosper. My niggas had to take a risk and prosper. What's left for me?
Very cool. Continuing the religious theme, and at this point, probably feels like it's gonna play a strong element throughout the album. As far as the instrumental goes, very, very pleasant to listen to, super enjoyable. I thought Jim Legacy's part was great. He sounds really good on the track, so that's my second time hearing him, and both times I've really enjoyed his sound. And then as far as Dave, we're also continuing the theme of him being torn between wanting to be, religious and righteous, and then obviously the opposite of that, the street life. It's tough, and everybody has their own battle, right? It doesn't always have to be this specific battle, but I think the relatability so far in this music is that there is a battle between the good, or what each person will deem in their life to be the good that they're trying to follow, the path they're trying to follow, and the path that we often end up on, which may not always align. And that's what's going to make this relatable so far. So continuing on, we got chapter 16 featuring Kano. So let's see what this one's about. Sounds like we're at a restaurant.
Wag you on the 52nd floor just to take the piss. And somehow we've had to deal with higher stakes than this.
Hey.
You're the reason that I take the risk. Had me on your tour team. I studied you since I was 14. I wanna know.
Okay, so it seems like he's talking to Kano, who I believe is a decently older artist than Dave, and I think one of the earlier, people in the UK scene, from my understanding. I don't know much, but that's something I know. And I love the Wagyu on the 52nd floor. So you're eating steak on a really high floor, had to deal with higher stakes than this. That was really cool.
And somehow we've had to deal with higher stakes than this. You're the reason that I take the risk. Had me on your tour team. I studied you since I was 14. I wanna know what life was like in your teens. We shared dreams. And even when we shared screens, I couldn't get no FaceTime. I got questions like, how'd you do it? Do you have regrets? Like, what's your life like? See, mine was like the sun setting. Pray the moonshine, it's the prohibition, no ignition. Ran for 2 parties, it's the coalition. Rum and Red Bull,
nice.
like Max Verstappen, but the race is different, taste is different. It's adult dances in my pole positions, young as dying like...
Rum and Red Bull like Max Verstappen, but the race is different. That's a really cool line right there. Very interesting kind of setups here in terms of him, asking Kano these things. This seems kind of like a younger artist, kind of in like the early to middle part of their career, which I could say, obviously you hope people have the longevity of, like, let's say a Jay-Z or something, or Nas, even though earlier in his career he wasn't dropping super regularly, but recently he's been a lot more active. And, the career spans over such a long period. Eminem's, like, these guys that have been around for a long time. So, if you look at it from that lens and that timeline, Dave would still be considered fairly early to, entering middle of his career. And you have this guy who's asking somebody who's been around longer, who's done this thing, for advice on some stuff. So it seems like that's kind of the premise of this track.
No ignition, ran for 2 parties, it's the coalition. Rum and Red Bull, like Max Verstappen, but the race is different, taste is different. It's adult dances in my pole positions, young as dying like they saved the game and could reload the...
That's dope. Pole position, dances, pole, but also pole position because of the racing.
It's just the coalition, rum and Red Bull, like Max Verstappen, but the race is different, taste is different. It's adult dances in my pole positions, young as dying like they saved the game and could reload the mission. Wearing jewelry, heard the plotting on me when I walk my ends.
Look, I know I just paused, and I know I'm probably over pausing at this point, but F off. There's no chance I could hear a line like that and just keep going. Youngers dying like they saved the game and could reload the mission? What are we doing here? That's nasty. That's nasty.
Save the game and could reload the mission. Wearing jewelry, heard the plotting on me when I walk my ends in South London. Something you can't teach, straight and common sense. Eating healthy, cause we trust our guts more than we trust our friends. Many frauds, lot of men fake, lot of imitators, innovators.
That was a dope ass line too. It took me a second. Eating healthy because we trust our gut more than we trust our friends. Like your gut instincts, or you got. Oh, that was nice. That was
Eating
nice.
healthy, cause we trust our guts more than we trust our friends. Many frauds, lot of men fake, lot of imitators, innovators. Take that shit to heart like defibrillators. Pa, pa, pa. Mothers shed tears and don't sleep for days, weep for days, and killers celebrate with ID parades. Then you got this C in our face, and this pressure I inherited from you. It sounds funny, but it's true. I loved you on the big screen, but bro, I want you back. Cause what acting game with you, we done lost in
You
rap.
got a lot of years ahead of you.
So Kano switched from rap to acting, it seems like. Let me know what I would maybe see him in. I'd love to check it out. Let me know.
But it's true. I loved you on the big screen, but bro, I want you back. Cause what acting game with you, we done lost in
You
rap.
got a lot of years ahead of you. Some years are worse than you and some are better you. If it's not positive, drop it, the streets residue. But keep a piece of yourself when you're selling you. This game ain't for the throne and kings are checkable.
That was nasty. If it's not positive, drop it. The streets residue. And that's an interesting thing. Like when you have residue of something, like if you've been there, you kind of have this leftover amount, this kind of evidence, trace amount that might stay with you, this residue. That's a really cool way to put that. But keep a piece of yourself when you're selling you. I feel like that line is nasty. Wow. This is dope, man. I like this conversational feel.
You, but keep a piece of yourself when you're selling you. This game ain't for the throne and kings are checkable. It's to be a better you. Envy's inevitable. And please take pics with your friends, cause I'm telling you, this industry attention will sever crews, and a sick turns to an addiction of the jealous Jews. Then they diss you again like you ain't fed them food. But if you whip Cullinans front of desperate youths, you Chris and a Benz, then the devil's due.
Damn. I like the rhyme scheme there. Probably touched on a line there which yeah, let's keep
Industry
going.
attention will sever crews, and a sick turns to an addiction of the jealous Jews. Then they diss you again like you ain't fed them food. But if you whip Cullinans front of desperate youths, you Chris and a Benz, then the devil's due. Them's the rules. You made it, laying it, this bed ain't new. But let's keep it true, you know you're reckless with protects and jewels. Flexers do what flexers do, and steppers do what steppers do. Beef, looking over your shoulder every time you turn keys bout. Turn the other cheek, must the man be the bigger man? I know he's trapped the fire, but that's the massive giants. These be guessing, take it on the chin. You're an Aston buyer, and I'm biased. But my generation got the classic writers. Your gen, that's mostly your pen. You're the rap messiah, you and Simbi. Go grab.
Ooh, that's crazy. Yeah, I mean, that's interesting. You look at that line, okay? Sorry, I went too far back.
The bigger man, I know he's trapped the fire, but that's the massive giants. These be guessing, take it on the chin. You're an Aston buyer, and I'm
Right here. And I'm biased, but my generation got the classic writers. Your gen, that's mostly your pain. You're the rap messiah. Ooh, that's interesting, man, because so if I think about my limited knowledge, even up to this point, like as much of UK rap that I have listened to, I think it's just a drop in the in the ocean. Who raps like Dave in terms of subject matter and touching on these complicated, difficult topics? Controversial topics. In the mainstream, I guess nobody I've reacted to in the mainstream, as far as guys who didn't break through and become a big name like Dave. Obviously, there's a number of people that you could put in there. I think my favorite, I'd love to say Mike Righteous as my favorite, but I think my favorite is actually Akala, because I think he's incredible when it comes to this. But I also don't know what generation he would fall under. I don't know what he counts as, because I just don't know enough about UK rap history. So that's an interesting question. Maybe you guys can comment down below.
But my generation got the classic writers. Your gen, that's mostly your pen. You're the rap messiah, you and Simbi. Go grab the accolades that they would never give me. But that's the never story. I ain't goated for the glory. Couple trophies in my storage.
Who's Simbi? You and Simbi. Who's Simbi? Simbi. Lil Sims?
Messiah, you and Simbi. Go grab the accolades that they would never give me. But that's the never story. I ain't goated for the glory. Couple trophies in my storage. Poor me. Ivan Novello don't rate a man, so be it. I was in 03 on the mic getting lordy. You think you would have flourished in my era at 140? It's great to break your love with you. Swap knowledge. But sorry, I didn't make no time back at Troxy. I watched your sound check that day. I saw promise. Then I came to your O2 show. I saw polish. But during all the pyrotechnics, I was pondering like, do you have family, politics and problems? Can you ever see when you're just someone's wallet? Have you ever smelled when a cousinship turns rotten, Tommy?
Can you ever see when you're just someone's wallet? Oh, that's interesting. I feel like that line right there is a summation of, when you become rich and famous, can you discern between people who are there in your life for you or for the things that come with the fame and the money? That's so interesting. I love how he did that too. I didn't make no time back at Troxy. I watched your sound check that day. I saw Promise. Then I came to your show at the O2. So big difference. I saw Polish. That's super dope.
Like, do you have family, politics and problems? Can you ever see when you're just someone's wallet? Have you ever smelt when a cousinship turns rotten, Tommy? Do you ever hear from your brother and start sobbing, Tommy? Have you ever touched a million and felt office, Tommy? Have you ever tasted victory and didn't want it? Those five senses will make sense to true bosses. I've got a sixth sense for knowing is truly from it. Bond Street Don, yeah, I know what the same cloth is. I know what the game offers. Raise buff. Check that day, I saw a promise that I came.
I'm coming back here for a reason, okay? Hang on.
Politics and problems. Can you ever see when you're just someone's wallet? Have you ever smelt when a cousinship turns rotten, Tommy? Do you ever hear from your brother and start sobbing, Tommy? Have you ever touched a million and felt office, Tommy? Have you ever tasted victory and didn't want it?
I didn't clock it till he said there was five senses. It'll make sense to true bosses. That was super dope. And that's why I had to go back and double check that he did all five of the senses. And then he goes and says, I got a
five
sixth
senses will make sense to true bosses. I've got a sixth sense for knowing is truly from it. Bond Street Don, yeah, I know what the same cloth is. I know what the game offers. Raise boffin, make offin, the sunshine till the leg and coffin. Legacy.
Wow.
Would they remember me, Dave?
Well, I guess we don't know, that's why we wake up, go get it by ourselves. And I'd love to tell you yes, but bro, I question that myself. Health, wealth, happiness, all somebody really needs. And some water I could give to my seed. Heart cold like Courchevel, Chanel, tortoise shell glasses that I bought this girl toward the world. Love, I can't seem to find it. This is shit I do for women, I don't even like them. Bro, I need some guidance.
Guide, bro, I ain't no relationship advisor, but all of this defense won't make you striker. God loves a trier.
Defense, striker. Oh, that was nice. That was nice. Okay, sir. I see you with the
I don't
wordplay.
even like him. Bro, I need some guidance.
Guide, bro, I ain't no relationship advisor, but all of this defense won't make you striker. God loves a trier, David loves a liar, but even the harm's half a heart, so I could Cupid fire. Hey, where's she from this time? Do your thing, bro. Every time I see you, new ting, bro. Cause you don't date, you do a lingo.
Hey, big bro, I don't know.
That was nice. That was nice. That was nice. Okay. I keep going too far back.
Cause you don't date, you do a lingo.
Hey, big bro, I don't know where you got that info, but that wasn't me. I need that in record and in writing. But still I love the game, it's enticing. I moved out west and it's nice, and these days we
Your
drive.
lifestyle bougie. I used to push a silver Porsche with two seats. Now the max cozy baby seats in an SUV.
Hey.
You know I've been Nige and I never had a goosey.
Blood, what was you eating?
Fried plantain.
You ain't had the pepper suit, G, and it's plantain, but trust me, that's all Gucci. Listen, I was in Jamaica.
Fried plantain. And then he goes, this plantain. I like that. I love how conversational this feels. They've captured that really well.
Nige and I never had a goosey.
Blood, what was you eating?
Fried plantain.
You ain't had the pepper suit, G, and it's plantain, but trust me, that's all Gucci. Listen, I was in Jamaica having cowfoot soup in the middle of Greenwich like I'm a real ghetto you. Touch uptown Monday and my Achilles on shoot. I don't fuck with the ganja, still I'm building up a zoo. Got me feeling like I must really have eyes in the back of my head. Range Rover television, the interior red. Fell asleep in the whip, the car, it felt like a bed. I just wanna give thanks for this life that we.
Look, mic check 1, 2, 3 school dinners. Now we sacked off the Saxa for sea salt living. I'm go funding to bring back peaceful villains. Call these 38 years, that's an evil sentence. Like I don't love you no more. Dave, I used to be.
All these 30, that's an evil sentence. Ooh.
I'm go funding to bring back peaceful villains. Call these 38 years, that's an evil sentence. Like I don't love you no more. Dave, I used to be married to the game. I'm a husband no more. All these SM7Bs ain't for us like before. Mike, Billy, Jean on that, they just discuss couple wars.
And they shortchange us. Paper chasing all good till it's divorce papers. Newspapers, court papers, they all ride my wheels. They gon' talk about your wants till they divide your wills. That's how family feels. Growing up so
The won'ts and wills. That was nice. That was nice.
shortchange us. Paper chasing all good till it's divorce papers. Newspapers, court papers, they all ride my wheels. They gon' talk about your wants till they divide your wills. That's how family feels. Growing up so fast. 26, feeling like our lives on timers. Lines in the face, she getting fillers to hide it. And hoes lying about their age like Nigerian strikers. Sorry, waiter, can I get this food in containers? Had to move, it was dangerous. Seen beautiful places. Bro, I used to have braces. Now it's my driver that's on a retainer. But that's just testament to God and his favor. And bro, I wanted a favor. Let's see each other more. Catch up and make beats. Cause the fans, they miss you. I know the fans, they miss me. Let's make a track about this dinner and the stamp you gave me. And base it on the book of Samuel. Call it chapter 16 if you're down.
See,
So
I call it based on the book of Samuel, call it chapter 16. So even that, like, if that is a direct reference to chapter 16 from Samuel, I don't even know if that's a book. Let me know. Let me know. These things I don't know.
So on the book of Samuel, call it chapter 16 if you're down.
So who's gonna get this one then? Aye. That's cool. So what's her name? Nah, I'm just fucking with you. Just do your thing, man. But trust me, don't overthink it. Like, it is what it is. If it's gonna be something, it's gonna be something. But I know you. I know what you're like. You're thinking 5, 10 years down the line, day at a time.
Man, so many things that we could say about this, but what I would say about that is, it's rare for, in this particular instance, to force it and it to turn out well. I think that this concept of the right time, now again, for women, it's a slightly different situation. There's a biological clock that exists that can make things hard if you do have a family in mind, and all these other things. But I think, now if we can speak from a guy's perspective, I believe that, things will happen in the time that they should happen. And that's true for both. But I think for guys, I saw recently this post, and it was this kid who was saying, like, I haven't had my first girlfriend yet, and, like, is something wrong with me, and and he was like 17, and it was just kind of like this weird thing where there was actually people responding back and saying, yeah, like, why, what's wrong? How do you not have a girlfriend yet? And I was just like, man, people are so weird. It's like, maybe he's someone who's going to have his first girlfriend when he's 18 or 20. Like, who cares? It's going to be, things will come at the time when they come. And this whole weirdness about, I'm supposed to have this, or I'm supposed to settle down now, or I'm supposed to be doing this. And it's just these weird pressures that we put on ourselves because we think that it matters. And the reality is, even the people who make you think that it matters by having an opinion about it, bro, they don't think about you more than 2 seconds after they let you know and put that pressure on you. You know what I mean? Like, you have to figure out for yourself and feel good about yourself and about what you're doing. Anyways, this reaction is already going to be extremely long. I feel like I was not prepared for this, but let's keep going and see what we got. Because what am I on? I'm only on track 5. Okay, this is not good. Let's go in. I'm looking forward to this, though. Raindance, Thames. Here we go.
Let's get the party started. See you at the bar, you was hardly talking. That's when I knew that your heart was scarring. Friends to lovers need a part to star in. Like, wait, babe, let me ask your pardon. This ain't Gucci, this is Prada, darling. If you want something, you can ask me, darling. And you started laughing, cause you think I'm joking. But looking in your eyes, that's the best thing. Bright lights giving you the red skin. You was in a bad mood when we stepped in. Though you checked out before we even checked in. On the phone, you gon' vent to your best friend, the one who gave me the lecture. But I ain't gon' sweat you, babe, I'm a lecture. Catch up with your boy, undress you, and let me tell you why I'm a blesser.
What is that from? I ain't gonna sweat you. I'm trying to remember what that's from. That's from something. That's 100% from something. He's paying homage to something. Baby, I'ma let you catch up with your game. Run faster. Don't let him lose you, because I ain't gonna bless you unless you feel a little desperate. Send a dude a text message, girl. Stop. Lil Wayne, now I don't know if Lil Wayne was paying homage to something even older than that, but I know Lil Wayne did that. That's the verse I'm thinking of, this part. So let me know if you know an even older reference, because there could be one, but I know that from Lil Wayne and Lloyd? Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Babe, I'm a lecture. Catch up with your boy, undress you, and let me tell you why I'm a blesser.
The way my mind falling away in my heart, I know Say you want me in the mood. Tryna hide my feelings for you. Don't wanna argue, not with you. Tell me why you're so in denial. Hold me close, don't tell me goodnight. Are you down and get me? Tell me when you're ready. I'm ready.
We can get into it, and we can get intimate. The shower when you singing it, better than Beyonce. I like the sound of fiance. You know it's got a little ring to it, and really when I think of it.
Dave, I'm just letting you know, you're in treacherous territory here. The Beehive does not play around. People are not gonna like that. Okay, I'm just letting you know. I like the sound of fiance. Okay.
Better than Beyonce. I like the sound of fiance. You know it's got a little ring to it, and really when I think of it. Growing up, I didn't ever see marriages. No weddings, no horse, no carriages. I wanna do things different and change the narrative.
Nice.
God knows you are a wild child, beautiful child. I need your help. Looking like you come from the 90s by yourself. My mum's 61, and her favorite line to tell her son is sometimes she wished that she had a girl. I wanna take you back to a time, back to a trip. You had that white wine that I never got to sip, and dinner wasn't ruined cause you never got the pick. I know that everybody tell me that I'm sick cause
It's the way my mind falling away in my heart. I know.
That was a crazy end to the verse. I really like the way he did that. I want to take you back to a time, back to a trip. You had the white wine that I never got to sip, and dinner wasn't ruined because you never got to pick. And that's interesting because there are real, obviously, situations that are like that. So I think the power in music is always going to be relatability. And when you describe a situation that really happens, it becomes powerful, right?
sip, and dinner wasn't ruined cause you never got the pick. I know that everybody tell me that I'm sick cause
It's the way my mind falling away in my heart. I know you feel the same when you're with me. You know I'm all you need. You're where I wanna be. My darling, can't you see? I love me and you. Never let me go. Me and you. I tell you 2 times. Me and you. Never let me go. Me and you. Tell me 2 times. Me and you. Never let me go. Me and you. Tell me 2 times. Me and you. Never let me go. Me and you. Tell me 2
I
times.
said lean with it, rock with it. Your finger, I could put a rock in it. Finger, I could put a rock in it. Bank card, they gon' put a block in it. Said rock with it, bounce with it. The left wrist, I could put my house in it. You wanna bet, babe, I could put my house in it. Paper, I could put my spouse in it. I said shimmy, shimmy, yeah, shimmy, yeah. 5'9", brown eyes, and she in it, shimmy, shimmy, yeah, shimmy, yeah. 5'9", brown eyes, and it, shimmy, shimmy, yeah, shimmy, yeah. 5'9", brown eyes, and she in it, shimmy, yeah, shimmy, yeah. 5'9", brown eyes.
Definitely the most mainstreamable song out of everything so far. I'm assuming that's probably going to be the one that will push the radio. Does stuff get pushed to radio anymore? I don't know nothing. But that's definitely the most, like replay value, mainstreamable, accessible to the widest range of people song so far on the album. Moving on to track number 6. And we're already about to hit an hour. Selfish, featuring James Blake again. Okay, let's see. No lyrics for this one. James Blake twice. It's cool.
What if I'm selfish? What if I'm the reason behind it? What if I'm overprotected with family because of how mine is? What if I'm jealous? Maybe that's what's making me nervous. What if my effort of pulling you closer, pushing you further? What if I'm selfish? What if the reason they call me the greatest is also the reason that me and you living on different pages? What if I'm too much? What if I settled and I didn't fight? What if my fear of doing it wrong's the reason I haven't been doing it right? What if I'm selfish? What if the kids just wanna be kids and don't wanna live in and out of the news and chill and don't even wanna be rich? And what if I'm so self-centered that I don't even realize what I could miss? And what if I'm...
Wow.
What if I'm falling in the abyss? Maybe it's... What if I'm... Yeah. Maybe it's dark, maybe it's day, maybe it's too many nights in LA. Look at the house, it's sorry and still. All of the feelings we hid in the hills. Maybe it's you, maybe it's me, maybe the media or the provoking. Gave you my heart, I laid it bare. Funny you went and you poked it. What if it's better with me out of the way? What if it's
Heart, I think he said laid it bare. You went in and poked it, poking the bear. That's a really funny use of that, different use of that. So this song right here so far, it feels like almost, very sorry, almost a culmination of things that we've already experienced on the album. And it feels like he's got a lot of doubt. That's kind of the vibes that are coming off of this. And he's being very introspective. He's being very self-reflective. And he's got all of these questions and doubts. And this is interesting. We're back to this kind of duality of like, does this double-edged sword of like, on one side, the things that perhaps make me successful are also the things that might be making it hard for me to find success in love or in starting a family or in that aspect. And that's an interesting question.
me? Maybe the media or the provoking. Gave you my heart, I laid it bare. Funny you went and you poked it. What if it's better with me out of the way? What if it's better with me out of, like, what if it's better with me out of the way? What if I'm poison? What if I'm cancer? What if I'm dangerous and I'm wild? Look in my eyes and seeing a child. What if he's broken? What if he's scared? What if he's ostracized and vilified? See, peace is just an illusion. Ain't got a home, I live in confusion. What if I'm selfish?
Can I just tell you that line, I'm going to pull it back a little bit, sorry.
Better with me out of, like, what if it's better with me out of the way? What if I'm poison? What if I'm cancer? What if I'm dangerous and I'm wild? Look in my eyes and seeing a child. What if he's broken? What if he's scared? What if he's ostracized and vilified? See, peace is just...
Look in my eyes and you see a child. Is that what he said? And then what if he's this and this and this? I can really relate to that part. But let's keep going and see where he's going with the rest of the song, because I'm taking a very long time to get through this album right now.
Illusion ain't got a home, I live in confusion. What if I'm selfish?
Forever, forever, forever. I manage the symptoms forever. You can love how you want. I know to give is no loss. But can you settle for a second and let go of your idea of heaven? I know it's a lot, but it might be all that I've got. I wanna throw myself in, snap off the mask. I wanna clone that sins and a love that lasts. I wanna skate away,
Whoa.
go with you to the parish. I wanna give you my life, or at least something to cherish. But what if I'm selfish?
I've done a lot of things I regret, like announcing I'll split on a text. Don't know why, but I still buy gifts for my ex. Watching the stories to see if she checks. I'm a mess, I don't know if my head's in a game.
Dave, why do you do that? Why are you still buying gifts for your ex? Dave.
Things I regret, like announcing I'll split on a text. Don't know why, but I still buy gifts for my ex. Watching the stories to see if she checks. I'm a mess, I don't know if my head's in a game. She told me don't mention her name, I'm suggesting the same. I'ma get through the pain, wanna see the sunshine, gotta get through the rain. Bag full of trauma, I left on the train. I'm ashamed for the days that I said that I changed. I'm a cheat, sat in a therapist chair crying like a baby in the middle of a Harley street, like I'm fighting a sickness that I can't beat. I'm this low, and then I go mad. Reflection telling me I'm just like my dad, and this white woman telling me it ain't so bad. Middle of my sentence, she cut me off like, sorry David, we don't have any more time. The appointment till 4 and it's 3:55, bro. I feel like she wouldn't even care if I died. Man, I tried do this therapy shit, man, I tried.
Damn, that's crazy. But that's that he's touching on something really interesting there. which I'll try to talk about at the end.
Harley Street, like I'm fighting a sickness that I can't beat. I'm this low, and then I go mad. Reflection telling me I'm just like my dad, and this white woman telling me it ain't so bad. Middle of my sentence, she cut me off like, sorry David, we don't have any more time. The appointment till 4 and it's 3:55, bro. I feel like she wouldn't even care if I died. Man, I tried all this therapy shit, man, I tried all this therapy shit, bro. I know, wouldn't even say I'm depressed, but I'm low in the Grove, the casino and Edgware Road. I've got too many sins to atone, and a voice in my head like, at this point, bro, you should have been rich, like, at this point, bro, you should have had kids, like, at this point, should have built you a life, like, look around you, don't you feel you're behind, like, look around you, don't you feel you're behind, like, look around you, don't you feel like, what if I never find love? Don't know if it's scarier, the four of us two together or being alone. I'm so used to being alone. What if I'm somebody nobody wants? What if I'm damaged, or what if I waited too long and I'm old on me? What if I'm cold on me? What if I cut off the hand that I hold on me? What if I'm rapidly spiraling, tired and jaded? Or what if I'm faded? Or what if anxiety's growing inside me, that I might have left all my besties behind me? Or what if I'm scared as I touch 27 that you don't appear in my idea of heaven? Or what if I'm what if I'm selfish?
Yeah, I mean, look, this battle between the two, I think, is almost inevitable, because I think in any industry, in any discipline, to become great, you have to have an element of selfishness. It's very hard to get that good, to get to those top levels without it. And this is a concept that people who don't achieve greatness, and I by no means have, but I feel like I do understand that whether it's a thing that I have enough skill or talent for is a completely different conversation. But assuming that I did, I think one of the things is, are you willing to give up the things that you would have to give up to make yourself and your journey the priority? And I think that's a harder thing to do than people realize. Maybe not in the moment, but, as Dave is kind of doing retrospectively here, kind of seeing what it has potentially cost him. Very, very interesting song, and one that I feel I will want to listen to several more times. Let's move right along, guys, because as I'm looking at the next track is almost 8 minutes. Dave, what you doing to me, man? We can do this. I have my caffeine here. You know what I'm gonna do? I was trying to save some, but I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna finish this. Okay, now it's officially done, and we're getting. The room already feels brighter. Wow, that's what caffeine does. Let's jump into my 27th birthday. I'm a big fan of the birthday series. I'm curious to see what we're going to talk about. I mean, I think it's going to probably be on theme and on brand with a lot of the conversations that have been going on in this album so far. So let's see.
Look, white fish on the coast of the Caribbean, my life is a film. Hero and villain, I'm playing both in a script worthy of Spielberg or Christopher Nolan. Reading a constant overachieving. I know I ain't as rich as them people with old money, but I didn't know money. They mocked me online for speaking up on all of our issues and being vocal, the shit that I see on socials. But how can I stay silent when I'm out in Barbados, white people mistreating locals? The villa in Jamaica, but it's owned by the Chinese. Head to the right beach and they're charging us 5 each. They say the Caribbean paradise, like why leave? But how can I be silent when there's blood on the pine trees? Most of us would sacrifice our soul for the right fees. Before I find love, I'm just praying I find peace. Before I find love, I'm just praying I find peace. You know what I believe? I don't know if I handled it well. It's fuck Coca-Cola, did I stop drinking Fanta as well? I can see the blood on the lyrics I write for myself. I cried about slavery.
Yeah, so this is touching on some interesting stuff, right? And we talked about this a little bit earlier when he dropped the Congo line, and now it feels like we're kind of going a little bit further in depth. And he's even addressing and mentioning something I didn't know, but that he gets criticism for talking about social issues, which is interesting, And I think that there is this belief for a number of people, a lot of people, that feel certain mediums of you know, art or whatever should be separate from you know, social issues or politics or things like that, you know. So and I think there are a number of people who probably support artists not talking about these things so that the music can stay separate from you know, those issues, divisive issues, and I disagree. So okay, interesting. Let's go.
You know what I believe? I don't know if I handled it well. It's fuck Coca-Cola, did I stop drinking Fanta as well? I could see the blood on the lyrics I write for myself. I cried about slavery, then went to Dubai with my girl. Surely I ain't part of the problem, I lied to myself. Jewels that my people died for are a sign of my wealth. My work is a physical weight on my life and my health. The last couple years feel like I've been inside on a shelf. I just phoned Sench and I said you inspired myself. I don't feel a spot of jealousy inside of myself. But when I'm all alone, I won't lie, I question myself. Am I self-destructive? Am I doing the best for myself? I know I love music, but I question the rest of myself. Like, why don't you post pictures, or why don't you drop music? Or why not do something but sitting and stressing yourself? 10 years I've been in the game and I won't lie, it's getting difficult. This shit used to be spiritual. We don't need no commentators, we can leave that to the sports. Just listen to the music, why do you need somebody's thoughts? And some of it constructive, but the most of it is forced. And why we counting the numbers, how the music make you feel? I'm just being real.
Wow, very interesting. A lot of look, it's a long song, so I'm trying to let more lines pass through before commenting. I mean, we could go all the way back to the Dubai line and a real. I live in the UAE, right? So this real understanding, I think, as time goes on, and especially these last couple of years, I would love to know his thoughts on the last couple of years as situations in certain African nations have gotten much worse. The whole, you know, Palestine-Israel conflict, you know, I'd love to know, just like have a conversation and see, you know, thoughts. But I think for me personally, the last couple of years was just like this jarring, you know, moment of kind of revelation that things had not changed or progressed quite as much as maybe we believed them to have. And what I realized is that for me personally, and this not everybody has to agree with this, that no place in this world in terms of countries is perfect, would be the cliche statement to make, but no place is not, you know, complicit in doing awful, terrible things to its own people or to other people in one way or another, and that's an unfortunate reality. And obviously, we can argue degrees to which places are complicit and actively involved, but that was, I think, a reality for me that became quite obvious in the last couple of years. And, you know, to an extent, it was almost like what we each will make those decisions and draw those lines that make sense for us. And I think that for me, it became a situation of, okay, well, what's going to give me the ability to secure my family the best? And then within that, whatever we do have control over and people that we can interact with and affect the lives of, you know, that is something I can absolutely control directly with my hands directly. And then there's the broader sense of, like, you know, we talked about earlier about you know, boycotting and trying to, like, for example, one of the things is, like, we all use smartphones which all use lithium batteries, which, you know, if you know the details, it's an awful you know, system that's in place. And so for me, it's you know, use the phones as long as you possibly can, because I know people who will get a new phone every year when the new one drops. There's nothing wrong with the previous one, they just want to get the next new one. And this is what fuels that industry and fuels the need to abuse people in the countries where you can get those resources. And so, you know, there's ways, I feel like there's this weird belief that either you are the ultimate justice and social activism warrior, or you're a bad guy. And there's no allowance to be on the spectrum. And I think we have to go back to a time where, and I don't know if there was ever a time, but we have to move towards a place where it's okay for people to be on the spectrum, and the idea of the spectrum to be that we're going to make progress over time. That, I'm not all the way over here because I'm limiting, purchasing from these brands. And now I'm limiting how frequently I do this. And now when I have the opportunity to be charitable and make a difference in someone's life, I'm doing this. And, it's okay to be somewhere along that spectrum and not have to be the ultimate person. And I think this weird belief nowadays that it's either you're on either ends of the extreme and there is no middle, I think it leads to a lot of people being put off from these topics, and it makes it harder to talk about them. So anyways, that was a long tangent, but I feel like it was, in line with kind of what's going on in this track.
10 years I've been in the game and I won't lie, it's getting difficult. This shit used to be spiritual. We don't need no commentators, we can leave that to the sports. Just listen to the music, why do you need somebody's thoughts? And some of it constructive, but the most of it is forced. And why we counting the numbers, how the music make you feel? I'm just being real.
I agree with that a lot.
Yeah. White fish on the coast of the Caribbean, my life is a film. Hero and villain, I'm playing both in a script worthy of Oscar and Hollywood nominations. I'm throwing money at women in different denominations and killing the conversation. All them people told me, keep grinding, be patient. It's weird being famous, trying to navigate the spaces. Feel like a celebrity, but you ain't on the A-list. And you never drop, so you ain't really on the playlist. But your fans love you can see it on their faces. America feels so close that you can taste it. 2017 was trying to make it to the Rangers. 2025, I'm trying to make it to the Grangers. How do I explain me and my soulmate are strangers that we've already met and I've known her for ages? How do I explain because I'm running out of pages? How do I explain South London and its dangers? Can't recall the last time that we was all together, but all I can remember the Olympics was in Beijing. Moved to Dubai, that's for the taxes that they take in. Or moved to Qatar, feel the breeze on the beach. But how can I explain to my kids that it's fake win? Free but I'm broke, have me feeling like I'm caged in. How do I explain 2 pounds got you 8 wings?
Ooh, that was crazy. Free but I'm broke, had me feeling caged in. Again, touching on some interesting topics, especially in terms of the UK having and a significant number of people having strong opinion about what they call tax dodgers would be the term.
That they take in or move to Qatar, feel the breeze on the beach. But how can I explain to my kids that it's fake win? Free but I'm broke, have me feeling like I'm caged in. How do I explain 2 pounds got you 8 wings? How do I explain my ops lost but we ain't win? Girls I'm around had surgery on their hips. How do I explain that I love her the way she is? How do I explain my feelings on having kids? That it wasn't what it was, but it is what it is. How do I explain my niggas are in the hood and they don't ask for nothing even though they know they could? Cause they rather trap, rob and get it on their own. How do I explain these messages on my phone? I just got a call, my girl sitting in the car and it says Serge, but Serge with us in the car. I know I might sound like a villain from afar. How do I explain that my mechanic is a chick? Or why is she calling me when I don't even own a whip because my license is revoked? I mean, how do I explain that I don't want to heal cause my identity is pain? How do I explain? I mean, how do I explain? I went and hit the streets because I didn't want a boss. I ended up at work, I was barely getting paid. For someone that was 2 years above me in my age, I didn't even find it strange. I mean, how do I explain?
Wow, man. I mean, where do we even... This is one of those that I feel might need a separate reaction for itself. Because, again, for the scheme of this album reaction, we're already an hour and 20 minutes. So within that context, I feel obligated to try and let way more lines pass than maybe I typically would on like a breakdown video. But, all I'll say at this point is this is beautifully written. And it's very interesting because the questions that he's asking, I think when you are a thoughtful person, and I can only speak for myself again. I tried to be a thoughtful person, and when I was having conversations with my wife about our potential of having kids, and then us finally deciding that, okay, we will have kids, and everything that kind of ensued, a lot of these questions do come up. And obviously they're different than his exact questions, but the line of questioning is the same, respective to your own life and your own decisions and your own weird kind of situations that occur. I mean, even this last one that he's describing, saying I basically went to the streets because I didn't want someone to be my boss. And then when you get to the streets, you have a boss because someone's been doing it for a couple of years longer than you or whatever. And you're barely making money, probably less when you break it down to hourly, probably less than what you would be making from that job that you didn't want to do because you'd have a boss. So we all have versions of that in our life, and I think that when you're a thoughtful person and you have these moments, you ask a lot of questions like this. So I find this very relatable.
Everything's fine. Everything's fine.
Yeah. 52 miles from Marseille, I'm in Miraval. 4 years, 17 days, I ain't been around. I can't lie, it even shocks me that I'm still around. I can't lie, it even shocks me how I'm living now. Staring at this Rachel Jones painting, I'm sitting down. The last thing I drew was a weapon, I'm living wild. Turned 27, but I feel like I'm still a child. In this house out in central London, I can barely afford. 6 months sober and I feel like I'm Dave again. Drinking all my pain and my sorrows away again. I got withdrawal symptoms, but they happen at ATMs. Next 2 years, I'll be looking at ATMs.
No, sir. Look, as I was saying, I'm trying to let more lines pass, but how do I, when you're doing so many, the art reference here with the painting, I drew weapon, and then withdrawal, ATM, withdrawal symptoms.
Who's the best artist in the world? I'm saying Thames. Maybe James Blake or Jim on the day, depends. Let's see who quits now we ain't getting paid again. Yeah. I'm just here drinking liquor by myself. Is my music just becoming a depiction of my wealth? Never trust a girl whose lock screen's a picture of herself. I had to learn that shit myself. Now I'm sitting by myself with no girl. Like shit, I really did this to myself. 27 and I'm terrified of living by myself. Cause there's a kid inside myself I haven't healed. And me and him debate each other. I can't love myself. I'm made from two people that hate each other. My parents couldn't even save each other, made each other unhappy. Used to be excited by the block, but size doesn't matter. You supplying it or not, sling a shot. I could've really killed a giant with a rock, but that's a life that I forgot. And my young boys.
That's crazy. Oh, that's crazy. David and Goliath. So again, it works really well with the David, but the slingshot. And then he's talking about rock, a different, meaning of rock, slinging it, shot. Oh my gosh, that is incredible. Could have really killed a giant with a rock. That is fire. Especially that comes after, but size doesn't matter. Wow. That might be the most impressive one so far.
Unhappy.
That was
Used
nice.
To be excited by
That
the
was
block,
nice.
but size doesn't matter. You supplying it or not, sling a shot. I could've really killed a giant with a rock, but that's a life that I forgot. And my young boys are sliding over what? I don't know, cause I ain't spoke to him in time. Ain't afraid of getting older, scared of being left behind. And then I question, will I live my life and resent? Is anybody ever gonna take my kindness for strength? I gave Tisha the world, it weren't enough and then she went. Everybody's making content, but nobody's content. Safe space, can I vent? It crept up. My girl cheated on me when I was next up. It made me want it even more, man, it's messed up. I'm still walking around a veil with my chest out. I don't wanna leave my house because I'm stressed out. You done me dirty and you didn't even tell a lie. It ain't about what you said, it's what you left out. My whole life I've been feeling like I'm left out. If you fuck another girl, she say you cheated on her. And if she fuck another man, she say she stepped out. And if you ask about Dave, they say the best out. Yeah, and I survived all these errors, cause I barely made any. I'm just speaking how I feel.
Ooh, I survived all these eras because I barely made any errors. Wow.
Said it's what you left out. My whole life I've been feeling like I'm left out. If you fuck another girl, she say you cheated on her. And if she fuck another man, she say she stepped out. And if you ask about Dave, they say the best out. Yeah, And I survived all these errors, car I barely made any. I'm just speaking how I feel. Yeah. Fucked up speaking how I feel. Recording to the morning, I ain't even had a meal. I dropped Joni home and fell asleep behind the wheel. Driving at 100 an hour, I switched gears. I ain't spoke to 169 in 6 years. Don't even get me started on this shit's weird. Call me what you want, but with music I'm sincere. You wanna know the reason it's taken me 4 years? It's not cause I'm surrounded by yes men and sycophants. It's cause I'm with producers and people that give a damn. It's me who's gotta carry the pressure, I live with that. All I thought about is the song we could give the fans when I was out there getting stood up by artists I'm bigger than. I don't want no girls around when my nieces they visit, man. They might see the way that I'm living, I figured that. I wanna be a good man, but I wanna be myself too. And I don't think that I can do both, so I can't let her too close. It hurts, but I'm still moving. Feel like it's me versus me, and I'm still losing.
Wow, man. I mean, wow. I want to go off. I want to talk. Like, I've already done it several times, which is why I'm hesitating to keep doing it. Because there's so much that we could talk about. There's so much that I think a lot of us can relate to. There are either parts of us or all of us that we dislike. Hopefully it's just parts of us, but you know, who's to say where you are on that journey of finding a way to learn yourself and then accept yourself, and then you know, if you feel you need to improve yourself, and that takes time. But I mean, he's talked about this already, especially when he talks about the boy inside of him that he hasn't healed because of all the things that he went through and had to do and happened. And you get to this point and he literally is saying, you know, I don't want girls around when my nieces visit. They might see the way that I'm living. I want to be a good man, but I want to be myself too. So right away you're like, oh. And then he just comes out and says it, I don't think I can do both. So I can't let her too close. Literally, he feels like when he's maybe being true to himself, his desires, his wants, that it directly contradicts and is in conflict with his worldview of what is good. And that is such a scary way to feel about yourself. I mean, I feel, you know, if this is truly how Dave feels about himself, it's I hope he's got good people around him that support him and check on him and take care of him, because that's not a good way to feel about yourself, you know? But it's honest.
Yo, my boy, it's Josiah, what you saying? You know, man, I had to check you on your fucking birthday, my boy. More life, my guy. Man, soon out, don't even watch that. What are you saying though, bro? I know you got space one of them 8-minute, 9-minute tracks to give man a shout out. Tell the people then my story. The man already know what I was on. The man them know my tip. Come on, bro. I know you got me. Alright, lastly, my sis, Tamar. I beg you check in with her, please. Make sure she's blessed while I'm gone. Make sure she's safe. Hey, soon home, my boy. Love.
Is that somebody, Josiah? Maybe that's somebody that's in.
He feel marvelous.
He said soon home, so I wonder if that means that maybe he's locked up or something. Again, I could be completely wrong about that. I feel like there's probably not lyrics for this yet. Let's keep going. I'm hoping I can kind of finish this in one shot. There's 3 tracks left, but let's see what happens.
He feel marvelous.
Marvellous.
He robbed a man and he feel marvelous. Josiah, only 17, he got that dog in him.
There we go. It was a setup for what's next. So he's telling a story about Josiah now. Okay.
Feel marvelous. Josiah, only 17, he got that dog in him. I used to see him at my church, it was just margining. We know this kid for kicking ball and he was hard. He could have made a professional, had a trial, we told him you got a chance. My God, we said the streets ain't nothing nice, he said let's see. He's trying to take a trip and put that to the test. He's trying to turn 4.5 into a 9. Divide that shit into decimals, make it stretch. First time I ever met him, I said he's blessed. But if he can't even keep it real with himself, I'm not shocked if he's lying to me. Ask my young boy what he's trying to be, and he don't want a good girl, he want a hoe. He don't want a good job, he want a gun. And he don't wanna kick ball, he wanna burn. And he don't wanna make friends, he wanna gang. And he don't wanna stack bread, he wanna bang. How my young boy so different, I don't know, but I pray God guide him. How my young boy so different, I don't know, but I pray. He feel incredible. He's showing, man, he feel incredible. Just side trapping 22 and 2, he's terrible.
I will say I'm very happy to hear a track where we're getting more of Dave singing, because I do feel like I like the sound that he has when he's doing that type of delivery. And I feel like we're 8 tracks in and we didn't get that much of it. We had moments of it in different sections, but I needed a sound like this, so I'm very happy.
He feel incredible. He's showing, man, he feel incredible. Just side trapping 22 and 2, he's terrible. He wanna travel to the States, he's ineligible. Said he's a criminal, now he's doing numbers on his phone. Got youngers of his own. A Glock the man and bought him and a Russian of his own. He's got some pagans that he beefs. Evading the police, been going crazy from the day he got released. Cause now he's in a Cali weed, grab a leaf, cocaine, Hennessy. Robberies, bank fraud, OT, enemies. He fuck with Aaliyah, fuck a Lisa, Stephanie. And he got some cases we don't know if he can ever be. And he look at us like we some people he can never be. We should've never made our youngest hold a 17. All I ever wanted was for you to be a better you. All I ever wanted was for you to be a better me. Fuck about a salary, just side smoking celery. Started recreationally, but now they do it medically. It's weighing on me, that shit weighing on me heavily. I think about it regularly, just sides in the jailhouse, in penitentiary.
That's crazy. I love that line where he says started recreationally, but now they do it medically. And I think the implications of that is medicine, something that's medical. Medicine is something that you need to deal with something, right? So I think that was a really cool way for him to put that.
Never wanted was for you to be a better me. Fuck about a salary, just side smoking celery. Started recreationally, but now they do it medically. It's weighing on me, that shit weighing on me heavily. I think about it regularly, just sides in the jailhouse, in penitentiary on charges that were meant for me. Facing 10 potentially, but he was just protecting me. Before you think to step to me, just know my youngin' next to me, and God knows. He don't want a good girl, he want a hoe. He don't want a good job, he want a gun. And he don't wanna kick ball, he wanna burn. And he don't wanna make friends, he wanna gang. And he don't wanna stack bread, he wanna bang. How my young boy so different, I don't know, but I pray God guide him. How my young boy so different, I don't know, but I pray.
You know, even in a track like that, it's so interesting. So you get this, story of Josiah. And even within this track, you have that conflict, right? Because I think there's an inherent conflict between, the street life and the things that you have to do and, let's say selling drugs and maybe violent activities and the godly, righteous path. And I think it's so interesting that in that moment you have a line that basically says, why are my young guys so different, right? And then he says, I pray that God guides them. I think he said something like that. And that's such an interesting, thing that continues to be a theme through this album. Yeah. Let's keep going. We got a track called Fairchild. This is track number 9. We're almost at the end. I think I can manage to squeeze this out, guys. I think so, because I got to leave here in about 30 minutes, and I really hope it doesn't take me another 30 minutes to do the last 2 tracks, but at this point, who knows? Fairchild with Nicole Black. I don't think I've heard.
Yeah. She was 24. Last week told me something you can't be ready for. I am on the death of our innocence. I am on the death of her innocence. Let the Henny pour. Some weeks ago she was in a cab. I felt sick to my stomach, cause when I listened back, driver was acting all forward, I should've drawn a line. She wasn't worried about it, it happens all the time. All the time, said it happens all the time. A little conversation, that's just all it is. Ask a couple questions and he'll call it quits. He ain't even have to ask her where she lives. She was headed to this venue with a couple friends, and I was working late, said I'd collect her when the party ends. She got into this no phone party. You know the ones where guys have their phones and all the women there don't. I threw one of them last week, so I don't wanna speak. But when I think about this shit, it cuts deep. You see, Tamar, she like my little sis. So when I asked...
Okay, first of all, the connection here. So didn't Josiah, I think that was his name, say at the end of my 27th birthday, check on Tama, his sis, right? Oh, shoot. What's going to happen here, guys?
About this shit, it cuts deep. You see, Tamar, she like my little sis. So when I asked her to explain to me the story, she said this. I caught a vibe with a guy and then from the off, but something was off. Offered me pills and offered me shots and offered my head. Couldn't even say if I was sober or off in my head. I could have danced for days, wouldn't have been no surprise. But let's have a good night. They turn to have a good nights when all the men start drinking, and then they feel entitled to more than opinions. You know how that goes, a man come to the girls like, fucking, let me get your snap in it. Add me back in it, fucking, what? What you doing after this? What you want? What's wrong? Why are you moving so stiff? Come back to the AP, what friend, what? Don't worry about her, you ain't her dad, that's long. I follow her home, call her a cab and what? I feel like I seen you before, what? You from Bex, you know Thames, fucking. Are you getting back to ends and I ain't saying that's weird? But it kinda is, she busy throwing up, he's trying to take her to the crib. But that's the culture of the club, right? All games fair, and if she don't like it, why she there? These times she just wanna go home. She don't wanna go alone with no battery on her phone, and all her friends are trying to stay. Cause they're going to somebody's after party in a house that's out the way, and then she blacked out. She was gonna leave with them, but something felt off and then she backed out. When I heard about the time she tried to make her home alone, she said,
At Archway, I got out the car. It's quiet and I'm walking up this long hill. Faint sound, cold chills. I swear I just heard a familiar voice. Inside of the club, outside of the club. Was it that first cab? I swear I know the voice. Think fast, that's my only choice. He's coming up, I hear him running up. I ran and I tripped, I fell and I buckle. My belt in a buckle, my keys in my knuckles. He's grabbing my hair, I'm screaming to stop. I'm hitting him hard, it's turning him on. The burning is gone, my body is so cold. I'm frozen in fear, accepting my fate. His hands on my waist, I think that I threw my keys in his face. I ran and he chased, I stumbled on a group of three that were leaving. I ran towards them, didn't notice that my feet, they were bleeding. And that's when I called, praying that you be there recording. The only person that I know who's up at 3 a.m. I sound mad, but if you ain't a girl, I guess you don't know the feeling of watching what you wear because you're worried about making it home. Walking with your phone to your ear and you ain't on the phone. Can't walk on the same side of the pavement alone. Everyone's a fucking good guy and they're making it known, but I'm just making it known that if you ain't a girl, I guess you don't know the feeling of checking the child lock or seeing the air tag. A 5-minute walk home feeling like 5 miles. Maybe if these people would police our cities where they police our bodies, then maybe fucking hell. Maybe every woman that I know wouldn't be stuck as well. Danger doesn't look like no killer in a mask.
it looks like that flirty cab driver and guys that feel entitled cause you're standing in a section. Short-tempered men, the ones that struggle with rejection. I knew a girl called that was in so deep she thought violence was affection. I know some women wouldn't want a man's help because so many of them want the same reward for their protection. Danger doesn't look like no killer in a mask. It looks like that kid in the group chat that jokes about, and he won't ever stop because there's no one to correct him. And he might even do it cause the system will protect him. Algorithm gonna find some people just like him. They hate women too, okay, yeah, fuck it, let's connect him. Homicidal, femicidal shit when they're suggested. Somebody just asked you on a date, it was your dentist. He just went downstairs and got your number from reception. Used to be nice, said I remind him of his little girl. 2 weeks later, he wants a sexual connection. Danger doesn't look like no killer in a mask. Who you even talking to? Women hunted down by the people they say reported to. Honestly, I wouldn't have the solitude or fortitude. Try and humanize you, she could be somebody's daughter you. As if that's the reason that them fellas shouldn't slaughter you. God forbid that they offend the people you're belonging to. Objectify you just the way I do in every song. Tomorrow was never wrong. Can't trust guys, she never lied. No men aside, the femicide. The cat calls, the long stares, the kind words, the lines blurred. Call her out, impersonator. All know a victim, don't know a perpetrator. Am I one of them, the men of the past? You catcalled, I spoke in the bars. I'm complicit, no better than you. I told stories of, got sit on the fence. That's hardly an option. You either part of the solution or part of the problem.
Oh man. Whenever this topic comes up, and I'm listening to music, it always really messes me up, man, because so a couple of lines I think that really stood out to me in this. Danger doesn't look like no killer in a mask. I think that's a huge one. And this one probably the most accurate. Maybe if these people would police our cities the way they police our bodies. I think we're living in like such a messed up time, and this SA has been a part of life for probably as long as history can take you back. And at different times, its acceptance was at different levels. And I think the most concerning thing for me is that, let's say myself, 15 to 20 years ago, I think I truly believed that we as the human race on this planet were further along in regards to social issues than we actually were. And for some of you, maybe you've always been, I guess, what today would be called woke. And not the politicization of woke, but woke to these issues existing, that in that form of it. These issues existing and needing to be dealt with and needing to be changed. And so for me, I think that, certain topics, for example, racism, sexism, and a few other isms that you could probably throw in there. 15 to 20 years ago, I do think I was under the belief that we had made immense progress and had really, come to a place where those things are going extinct. And you fast forward 15 to 20 years from that, young, maybe if I say it in a positive light, optimistic, but in a realistic light, naive boy that I was. You fast forward this time and, the way things have really happened in the last, I would say 5 to 10 years specifically, it just feels like either these things have made a huge comeback or they were always there and people were really good at wearing a mask and not showing that side. And now you just have such, horrible things that happen and that are justified by people. When it comes to this, it's such a difficult thing for me to talk about because I feel like once I really get into this topic, I always get emotional and I always end up breaking down, and then it's useless. I'm just like crying on camera and I'm not able to get thoughts out. But this is a really disgusting reality of the world that we currently live in. And I hope that things can improve and change. But what I do know for sure, that's hope. But what I know for sure is instead of measuring our success at achieving this by how we're able to change other people, if we can instill this belief system in ourselves, and let's say if you do end up having kids, and your kids, I have 2 boys, if I ever found out that my boys were doing anything that was remotely even heading in this direction, it would be you know, I don't know what I'd lock them up. I don't know. They wouldn't leave my house until I figured out the situation and set them straight. And I would feel like I failed. I failed to show them, whether it was by how I treat their mother, whether it's by how I treat, non-familial women out in public, in front of them, whether it's how I speak to them about women. I would have failed if it ends up in that place. And I think that that's where it has to start, because while the line is there where it says, like I said, danger doesn't look like a killer in a mask, it is hard to know who is, and that's the whole point of this thing, right? They have a different kind of mask, a mask of, I'm just another person. I'm one of the good guys too. I'm just a regular guy, right? That's the mask that they wear. That's what danger most often looks like. For example, serial killers, a lot of times there's this like weird response after the fact, like, oh, I didn't realize they would look so normal, or they would look so, for example, Ted Bundy, didn't he have like women like fawning over him? And it's just this thing of like, we think that people who do ugly, terrible things must also look ugly and terrible. So we can obviously see the threat or the danger coming. And most often that is not the case. This is just a very difficult thing, because I find it very painful to talk about. And I think that I can't avoid talking about it, because there are people out there who go through this and worse than what was, ultimately described here. And I think that if you are in a privileged position where maybe you don't feel this threat, so as a man, and men do get sexually assaulted too, but if you were in a privileged position, again, like myself, and that hasn't happened to you, then I think that you should use that privilege to show that it's not just people that it's happened to that can speak up about it. Everybody can. So anyways, this is tough, man. This album has touched on some really deep topics, but we're talking about Dave, so I feel like that was expected. We have our final track. This is The Boy Who Played the Harp, so this is the title track, and then we will have finished out the album. So let's finish here strong.
Yeah. I sometimes wonder, what would I do in the next generation? In 1940, if I was enlisted to fight for the nation, or in 1960, if I had to fight for the rights of my people and lay down my life on the line so my grandkids could live a life that's peaceful, would I be on that? Would I be front line? That's what I'm thinking. If I was alive in the 1912 and the Titanic and it was sinking, who am I saving? Am I fighting women and children, or am I waiting? I wonder. What would I do in the next generation? Battle of Kabbalah. If they captured me for the sake of my father, would I stand on my honor like Hussein did and then tell them to make me a martyr? Would I re-get smarter? Forgive my oppressor, stick to the creed. If I got locked inside like Nelson Mandela but never was freed, I see a white man dance to rumba. Ain't studied Patrice Lumumba, but get on the stage and sing like Sumba, la ja 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 Sumba. Fuck it. I wonder, what would I do in the next generation? Would I fight for justice? Is it the reason my mum named me David? How can you be king? How can you be king? Don't speak for the people. Them man try to draw me out and compare like me and these niggas are equal.
Okay, this is, see, and it's interesting that he's put this at the end, and I think very correctly, not just in his delivery. This is probably his most, I'm gonna show you why I'm the best, rapper in terms of like his flow and delivery so far. But even what he's talking about, what an amazing topic to touch on. Let's keep seeing where he goes with this, but it ties in so much of what's happened on this album so well. Especially the fact that it follows the song Fairchild. Wow.
You be king, don't speak for the people. Them man try to draw me out and compare like me and these niggas are equal. I'm a black man and this bozo saying my music's socially conscious, while the man them trolling responses. This world's gone totally bonkers. I sometimes wonder, what would I do in the next generation? But I'm knowing the answer, cause what am I doing in this generation? Afraid to speak, I don't wanna risk in my occupation. We got kids under occupation. Our parents, they wouldn't get that. The people that died for our freedom spoke on justice, couldn't accept that. I talk about the money in all my accounts, so why don't I speak on the West Bank? Remember, growing up prejudiced, the damage.
Wow. Respect, Dave. Respect, sir.
This generation. Afraid to speak, I don't wanna risk in my occupation. We got kids under occupation. Our parents, they wouldn't get that. The people that died for our freedom spoke on justice, couldn't accept that. I talk about the money in all my accounts, so why don't I speak on the West Bank? Remember, growing up prejudiced, the damage 7-7 did. Extremists and terrorists, I was afraid of the Taliban. Can't speak out on illegal settlers, now I'm afraid of a shadow ban. What would I do in the next generation?
Can't speak out on illegal settlers now. Man, he's Dave. Honestly, and he touched on it really well in saying that people want to protect their paycheck, protect, whatever. And to protect it, they won't touch on these topics. And he's touching on the topic. And I respect that. I don't know, again, prior to this, I don't know how active he is on social media. I don't know anything else that he does. I know him for his music. That's what I know. So when I'm hearing it in the music, that's what's up, man.
Terrorists, I was afraid of the Taliban. Can't speak out on illegal settlers, now I'm afraid of a shadow ban. What would I do in the next generation? Critiquing African leaders for selling our country's natural resources to the West for peanuts. If they don't hear, they'll feel us. I question what I'm alive for. And can you say you're alive if you ain't got something you're willing to die for? What am I willing to die for? What am I doing in this generation? I get in my head sometimes. I feel like I'm in despair. That feeling of total powerlessness. I get that sinking feeling that good ain't defeating evil. I put their pain on vinyl, but feel like that shit ain't moving a needle. Retweeting people, raising awareness.
That was a sick record player scheme right there.
My head sometimes, I feel like I'm in despair. That feeling of total powerlessness. I get that sinking feeling that good ain't defeating evil. I put their pain on vinyl, but feel like that shit ain't moving a needle. Retweeting people, raising awareness. In all fairness, Ain't gonna bring Chris back to his parents, but there's no other option. It's a process, gotta stand and protest. Cause they want man silenced, cause they want man dead, or they want man hopeless. In the next generation, I spoke with my ancestors in the night and I showed them. They spoke with tears in their eyes for the brothers they lost and said it was progress. How can it be progress? I asked them, confused, disgusted. They said, David, just so you could fight this, you know how much suffering touched us. And you got a chance, we come from a time and a place where you couldn't get justice. Had to find peace in the fact that we all answer to the one that we trust in. And
I don't know why that line made me so emotional. I almost broke down in tears right there. I think that's one of the things that is so hurtful about some of what's going on right now in many different places, but let's talk about the West, okay? Just for the sake of this conversation. And you have countries where a person who looks like me, a person who definitely looks like Dave, would not have had equal rights, equal respect only 60 years ago. It's not a long time. It's not a long time. We're talking about one lifetime, less than one lifetime. And you have people who fought and many people who paid with their lives to change that. And then you have this generation of people that are living now who almost take it for granted, because for us, someone our age, we live in a time where those rights are available to us, are promised to us, are guaranteed to us through the laws of the land. And you have people who come out and, for example, a movement of a specific person who I'll try not to talk about too much and not mention their name, but who talked about the, let's say, I guess, insignificance or ineffectiveness of Martin Luther King and how he isn't as important of a figure as people make him out to be in American history. And I see moments like that, and I see people. It's one thing for, let's say, a white nationalist to jump on that and be like, yeah, that's right. But when I see people of color jump on that and back that, it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart. Because if it wasn't for people like that, you couldn't even, you realize you wouldn't even have the opportunity to voice that, what you're voicing right now. That's what's so twisted about all of this. It's maddening. Oh my goodness. But when he did that, where he said he goes and he's depicting a conversation with his ancestors, I think that's what that part was. That just broke me, man. That really made me emotional.
Next generation, I spoke with my ancestors in the night and I showed them. They spoke with tears in their eyes for the brothers they lost and said it was progress. How can it be progress? I asked them, confused, disgusted. They said, David, just so you could fight this, you know how much suffering touched us. And you got a chance. We come from a time and a place where you couldn't get justice. Had to find peace in the fact that we all answer to the one that we trust in. And in our generation, we did do peaceful protests just like you. Burnt buildings just like you. Did boycotts just like you. Sat in a hostel, powerless, did feel powerless just like you. And I know that it may sound strange, but we made some change and we're just like you. I know that you question your character. I know that you suffer in silence. I know that it don't feel right when you go to the club in Victoria Island. Cause how can you dance in a club there's 100 people begging outside it? I know the sins of your father. I know that you're desperate to fight them. So step in your purpose. Speak for your people, share your secrets, expose your emotions. You might not see, but it's people that need it, never demand it. And if God can grant it, manifest it and receive it. Your name is David, and that covenant's sacred. You got a promise, so keep it, deep it. That man talking the thing, but I bleed it. Man wanna speak on the scene, but I've seen it. Tried in the fire, but I get some anointed. Kano passed me the torch, I received it. God told me I'm the one, I believed it. Shout hollow man, cause he helped me achieve it. I'm the youngest of my brothers. Father, he's the burden on our mothers. Give these niggas money, see their colors. Don't mix me with them, I'm not the one. Grind and miss the summer when it comes. I'm Abraham, I sacrificed the son. Where I'm from, they sacrifice the son. Hold up, I ain't finished, I ain't done. My ancestors told me that my life is prophecy. And it's not just me, it's a whole generation of people gradually making change. They ain't a greater task, shift that, make a name, make a start. They'll know what they're facing when they ask. With the will of David in my heart, the story of the boy who played the harp.
Wow. almost feel speechless, man. And that's an odd thing to say considering how much I've talked through this reaction. I don't even call it reaction anymore, breakdown, whatever, first listen. What an incredible end to the album. I think it's a perfect length. I think if you want to talk about trying to inspire change, showing people that you can be self-critical, self-reflective, and it can ultimately lead to growth. To put that in a medium which is typically maybe not associated with that anymore, in music, what an incredible experience that was. I very much enjoyed that. I'm not even going to attempt to talk about favorites. What I'm going to say is that I think there are at least a few tracks on this which I would love to do separate videos on and to talk about a little more in depth because they are so jam-packed. And as much talking as I've done, a 2-hour reaction for a 10-track album, it's not enough. I think that this is going to spark a lot of thought and conversation for people that are paying attention. And for those that aren't, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it sounded good. I hope that you found things that you liked in it. But for those paying attention to what was being talked about, this is a conversation starter, a debate sparker. That's what this was. Wow. And there's so much that I still would want to say about multiple of these tracks. I hope I recovered from my mathematical debacle at the beginning, but I really, for some reason, was going 175 hours. It's bothering me, guys. I pride myself on my ability to do math. Not like some math genius or anything, but I can at least do math. And, that was a really bad moment for me. So it's 14 and some change, okay? All right, cool. Man, yeah, if you guys are still here, I greatly appreciate you spending your time with me. I hope you have an amazing day, and I will see you next time.